Hi everybody, it's David Fleming here from the Toronto Realty blog, and welcome to this week's Pick 5. Folks, this week I wanted to talk about something that we have actually never done on Pick 5, which is amazing because I think we started this, oh my god, I don't even know, 2013, 14, somewhere around there, 2015? That's on my to-do list now. But we've never done this before. The subject, as you saw from the title today, is condos in Leaside. Now, why haven't we done condos in Leaside before? Well, that's the funny thing, because there really aren't any. So when I picture Leaside, I picture houses. Now, I grew up in Leaside, of course, okay? I live in an offshoot of Leaside now. But when I picture Leaside, I picture houses. And the buildings that they have in Leaside are typically like old folks' homes, right? There's a few co-ops, there's a few life leases. But when you think about condos, you've got to go up to one of the first deals I ever did, 1818 Bayview Avenue. Okay, so that is on Bayview, north of Eglinton, past Sunnybrook Plaza, which of course is going to be redeveloped into condos, but that's an older building. It's actually 1801 Bayview, sorry. Across the street where the old Jumbo Video was, remember Jumbo Video? You could get as much popcorn as you wanted. Jerry Maguire. That was the hottest video ever, 1997, Jerry Maguire. They had 100 copies of it on the wall. People were waiting outside for cars to pull up and people to drop off videos in their return slot. I was one of those people and I snagged Jerry Maguire. So yes, Jumbo Video across the street. It eventually became Blockbuster. It's very sad that today's generation will never know the excitement of going and looking at the massive wall with all the cassettes on it. That's 1818 Bayview. So 1801 Bayview, 1818 Bayview, they are older buildings. They could be on our list today. They're not going to be because I probably wouldn't sell them. But there's another one as well. I think it's 1750 Bayview, which is on the southwest corner of Bayview and Eglinton. So those are the older buildings. What about newer buildings? Leaside's absolutely booming with development right now, and that bothers a lot of people. So what I want to show you now, I'm going to put on my glasses. I'm going to show you this. What is this? This is Google Maps, okay? This is Gyro Mazda's new dealership under construction. If you go by here, I drive by here on the way to work every day, it now actually looks pretty nice, right? They've planted some grass. Now, this is their old dealership. Now, why did they move across the street? Well, because a developer bought this here and this here. And you can see this notice. See this? A change is proposed for this site. And there it is. There's the change. There's the orange building. Okay, so what is that? Here's the development application. Okay, so you guys can bookmark this. Development applications, you can zoom in here and you can see, and this is public record of course, right? Here's what they're doing. So you click here, you go application details, and you can scroll down and see, where is it here? 2 mid-rise buildings, 7-story and 8-story. So see this, it says closed. This thing is approved, this thing's going forward. 23,000 square meters of older adult living accommodations. Huh, condominium for older adults. Retirement rental accommodations. I wonder exactly how true that is, because this is what they're building. So this is an article that said, look at this, new Leaside condo plan under fire from residents and local councillor. So imagine that you live here. You're in a semi-detached house on Randolph. And for the longest time, you're like, yeah, you know, we back onto Laird, but it's not so bad. You know, there's a car dealership. Okay, well, guess what? Now you're going to have this built in your backyard. These people have been going absolutely crazy. But you know what, guys? All of Laird is going to be developed. Take a tour with me here, okay? You're joking if you don't think that eventually all of this stuff is going to be built up and turned into condos. And to be honest, like, why not? And I live in Leaside. I love how quaint it is. But at the end of the day, more people want to live in Leaside. More people want to live in Toronto. We have a housing shortage. It's not the worst thing in the world. So on the one side, you've got big box, right? This is Leaside Village. So you know this from the big Longos that's there. This is where I get my coffee every morning at 85 Laird. I run in and get this swell that you people call it. And then you've got a bunch of other infrastructure. Now this, at one point, was a car dealership. Or actually, no, it was bought by a car dealership. I think it was bought by Ford in like 07, and then the whole U.S. economy tanked, and they sold it for pennies on the dollar. Now you've got Leaside Fish and Chips over here, right? This is an absolute relic. And then you've got what? You've got, this is some sort of union situation here, but eventually I would think that all this will be developed. And right here in the background, you can see there is a house. So if you live on Randolph, what's going to be built in your backyard? So there's another development application for here. Now, what is this? This is Bayview. This is quaint Bayview. Quaint Bayview. Oh, Laird is big box. Laird's big box, right? Bayview's so quaint. Look, it's so quaint. Look, everything's two-story. Well, guess what? And I actually remember, see this parking lot here? I remember when there was a flower shop here. I used to go every Mother's Day on my rollerblades and line up to pay 5 times market value. But that's fine. You know, the flower people, they work hard. And that was expropriated by the city for parking. So this here, what is this here? What's this here? Well, this little garden center is a very small sliver of land. And then you have this big parking lot, right, adjacent to Value Mart. Now, what's happening here? Check this out. Application. Hello. What are we looking for? Oh, well, we're just looking for a 9-story building, 156 units. Look at that, 156 units. I don't know what's happening. I'm circling it. Maybe Sna's underlining it. 156 rental residential units. Now, you know as well as I do, you can say they're going to be rental, and then you can turn around and turn them into condos, or vice versa, right? We all remember when Urban Corp took deposits on their Kings Club, and then they sold it to a REIT and said, sorry, we've canceled the project, even though it's like 80% built. They just sold it, they canceled it, and they turned it into rentals. So you could go the other way. Again, you might have an issue with the city. But right here at quaint old Bayview Avenue, you've got a development. So another thing I wanted to show you is this here, okay? 1414 Bayview. So for those of you who know this area, okay, this is on my running route here. This is Mcrase, that's my old running route. I lived right here, Mcrase Drive, yeah, 92 to 2005. So when you're going north on Bayview, next time you pass these townhouses, and my childhood friend Wes, his late stepfather, William Miscallick, built these here. They're beautiful, right? Beautiful, beautiful townhouses. Now, what have you got here? Okay, you've got Kaylee Heaps' office right here. You've got an old retirement residence here. And then you've got this. And a friend of mine actually packaged these together for redevelopment. Pretty smart. So these are fourplexes, right here and right here. These things have been here for forever. No, it's forever, right? And then you've got a couple of buildings here. So see this 1414 Bayview Sales Gallery? This is going to be a condo. You want to see what this is? Let's search 1414 Bayview. There's a few units on MLS. You will not believe the prices. It's wild. Well, if anyone can do it, it would be Kaylee. Okay, this is $4,250. This is my favorite part. Ready? Increased from 3.7 million. I have no idea what's happening here. 3.7 million increased to 4.25. It's almost contrarian, right? It's like, yeah, no, we want more money for them, and we're going to get it because we're the developer. So they probably will sooner or later sell this thing. But what is this, like $2,000 a foot? It's wild. So these things are absurd finishes, right? This is beyond luxury. Now, the one question I would have is that if you had somebody that was downsizing from a $7 million Forest Hill house, they can go and buy wherever they want for $3 million, $4 million in a condo, right? Who's downsizing to a Leaside $4 million condo? This is going to be very interesting. Now, I do think these will sell because there's nothing like it in Leaside. That's interesting. The tub next to the terrace. Yeah, and there you go, up top, right? So this is what it's going to look like. This is the back of the building, okay? And, you know, artist renderings are never really all that accurate. But I'm kind of looking at, this is facing east, and this is the back of the building. Can we get another rendering? No. Okay, so let's see. They're probably going to be the same photos here. It'll be the exact same photos. Anyways, but that's what the building's going to look like. It's super sharp. Again, the prices, like, look, this is, you know, what is this, 1,300 square feet, and it's $2.1 million. And again, it was $1,919,500, and now it's $2,099,000. They've raised the prices. And I have once worked with a developer, worked with Cresford years ago on the NYC condo. My colleague Patrick and I ended up with like 15 listings. It was a You can Google Cresford and see what happened, and some of the individuals are named in it. So I don't need to say anything because it's all public record. But at the time, I remember thinking, I don't like this at all. And I remember during a meeting once, we were talking about how none of the units are selling. And the woman, who's of course all throughout the media, said, we were thinking about raising the prices. And I said, I'm sorry, I don't understand. We're on the market and we're not getting any showings and we're not selling them. Yeah, we think we want to raise the prices. You know what? Not my jam. Don't understand at all. And it was a mess. Like, we wanted to stage. They were like, oh, we can stage it ourselves. We have in-house. And then they like literally dumped a bunch of used furniture in there, and we're like, we can't do this. We can't finish this. It's just, it's not a good mix. Me and working for developers, that was the only attempt at it. I think we sold 3 of them, maybe 4, before we like fired each other. It got really messy. So anyways, raising the prices, I guess it's a thing that they do. These are not cheap, but from what I understand, they're pretty much sold out. It's only 44 units, and I think they've sold, you know what, I don't even want to speak to it. A friend of mine's a developer here, right, has been bugging me forever. Oh, you got to do something on the building, you got to do something in the building, and it never really came up. I did write a blog about all the new developments. So what I will say, without getting in bed with the developer and some fellow agents that I respect, is this: it's very expensive, but nothing like this exists in Leaside. Nothing. So on the one hand, you might look at it and say, well, this is crazy. It doesn't make any sense. But on the other hand, it's never been done. So how can you say it's crazy when it's never been done? So carte blanche, okay? Is that the right term? Would I sell that $4.25 million condo that's 2,000 square feet to a client? Probably not. But that might speak to the fact that I don't have that clientele, or maybe those are just my opinions on, you know, what else could you do for that money. But somewhere out there, there is a person or a couple, this is exactly what they're looking for, and that unit will sell. It has never been done before. Okay, so with that in mind, guys, I've showed you Laird, right? Actually, that's the fish and chips place, okay? Because we were playing on Google Maps. I showed you, well, this is 1414 Bayview, and then I showed you this one. So now I want to show you the 5 units. Sorry, we're like 10 minutes in here. I want to show you the 5 units and the 5 buildings that we're actually going to look at, okay, in Leaside. And you can see here, there's never going to be in Leaside proper, right? Like this one's on Mcrase, right? And this one's down here near the arena. And these ones are an offshoot of Leaside. But that's because there's houses in here, right? It's always gonna be in the outskirts. Eglinton, Laird, Bayview, out here into Daddy Divorceville. Oh yeah, that's a thing. We're gonna get to that. Okay, so the first one we're gonna do here is 160 Vanderhoof Avenue. So when you look at where 160 Vanderhoof Avenue is, you say, well, hold on, is this really in Leaside? I mean, if this isn't Leaside, I don't know what to call it. So growing up, right, this was all industrial. So Canada Wire was here. Wicksteed, Laird, this entire thing. Now we know this now, the Home Depot's here. So in high school, so in the mid to late 90s, all of a sudden out of nowhere, a Home Depot appeared. And it was like on an island. It was just a Home Depot. Now, for those of us who grew up going to Canadian Tire or Home Hardware and looking for that one screw, like Home Depot was just like, you couldn't believe the kind of stuff you'd have to get there, right? Like back in the day, you'd go to a lumber yard down by the docks. Now you just go to this giant Home Depot. There was nothing here. Now we've got Best Buy, we've got Winners, we've got Golf Town, we've got all that stuff. And this here is going to be redeveloped as well. So our new office, where are we? We're Vanderhoof. We're right here next to what we call the Leaside Lake, because it's just a hole in the ground and it fills with water. We actually had swans for a while here. Not swans, loons. Canada geese, something like that. They're gone now because all the water dried up. So once you get past all of this jazz, there are condos down here. Now this is Aerodrome Crescent. This is Daddy Divorceville, which I'll get to in a few minutes. And then you've got Vanderhoof. So you've got a few buildings here. Now the ones that are facing this direction have unbelievable views. And the other thing you've got to consider is that you have at Leslie an LRT stop, and you've got over here at Laird an LRT stop. So the location's fantastic. So I've sold a bunch of these to investors. This is $598,000. Forget this, a 670 square foot unit. So let's just look at the price per square foot, okay? 598 divided by 670, we're $893 a square foot. Now, this thing's been on the market for 19 days. Let's say for argument's sake, you got this for 570 divided by 670. We're $851 a square foot, includes parking and locker, and it's northeast facing, so it's got a decent view. I have sold this unit multiple times to investors. It has the inset bedroom, it has a long hallway. Jesus, what did I sell this for? I gotta look this up. I had an investor who bought this exact unit. Now look at that view. That's pretty cool, right? From this building, there aren't a lot of poor views. Now these things rent. They rent pretty well. We had like 4 offers in the last one we had. We were very choosy about who we wanted to rent to. Now again, this thing is not staged. We're used to looking at downtown, but you get a sense of the layout, 670 square feet, right? That's an awesome view. Now you might be like, oh, I'm looking at construction, I'm looking at Eglinton. No, you know what? It's just really crappy photography. That's the view. It's a fantastic view. The amenities in here are pretty good, right? You've got pool, you've got gym, you've got movie theater, very, very family friendly. It's an awesome building. And then across the street, you've got this park, and there's a huge skate park as well. So I think I showed you that on the map. Let me go back to that. Yeah, you've got a skate park. So like, who's gonna live here? I suppose if you grew up in Leaside and you wanted to stay in Leaside, you might buy a condo here as opposed to going downtown. The issue with this is that, you know, this is Leaside proper. And if you were living in Leaside here and you're like, oh, I got to walk all the way to Yonge or take a bus to Yonge, this is a little bit further removed. But I've always liked these things. They sell fairly well. I sold a unit in here for investment on Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve. I was watching the movie called 7500, which was absolutely awful. But my mom loved it. Mom, you're probably watching this. At the end, she was like knitting. Boy, that was such a good movie. And I was like, I mean, we literally could have watched the Fire Log channel and Mom would have been happy because a couple glasses of wine and it's Christmas Eve, right? Mom, it was not a great movie. I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt as much as the next person. Anyways, it always pops up on my Amazon Prime. But that was like, when I think back to like, it's just something I love so much about Christmas. And I'm an atheist, but like that time, you know, just like family. No, you know what it is? This doesn't ring. That's what it is. Except for the time I was selling a property on Christmas Eve. That was a terrible example. Anyways, okay, so let's move on to the next one. I'll always remember that movie and that condo and Christmas Eve. So, okay, here we go. 25 Malcolm. I think this building's super cool for a few reasons. Why? Because I pumped gas at Sunoco right here. That is Sunoco. I pumped gas there. Summer of 1998 is one of the best jobs I ever had. I got up every morning at 6:15. I had strawberry jam on toast. I rollerbladed down the hill, and I got there at 7 a.m. Now, what kind of 18-year-old is up that early? Probably the ones that are coming home from partying the night before. I worked from 7 a.m. until 2 p.m. Then I would go home and lift weights in my bedroom, right? These little like 15-pound weights that no one's doing. And then I would go to karate. I'm actually tired just thinking about that. But that's the fun part about being 18. Work all day in the sun, go home, lift weights, then go to karate. Me and Neil, my brother Neil, went to karate every single night that summer of 98. And then I went off to first year university. Cool story, Hansel. Do you have time to tell it again? So that's the Sunoco that's right here. And these things are really, really cool. So can we go to Google Maps, or is there at least, let's see here. Okay, it says boutique building. Okay, here's a better view. Here's the Shane Bagkai building, which we will come to, okay? This is on the corner. This was the old post office, okay? And then this is Malcolm, and then Sunoco's right here behind this FedEx truck. So can we go, there's the other angle. So this is looking, this is looking from the Sunoco. So you're basically standing in the Sunoco, which now I think also sells sandwiches, but it's also now a Husky. Okay, I really like this building. Finishes are awesome, ceilings are high, it seems well lit, right? Like everything's white in it, and I just think it's like really light colors. It's a great way to keep the unit well lit. We've got gas, right? We've got really nice upgraded finishes. Just from a kind of design standpoint, it's very traditional feeling. Now what this unit maybe lacks is like a proper dining space. So for this kind of, and again, it's entry level, but you'd like to think maybe you get proper dining. Okay, so you could probably put in this area here, I don't know if they've got a desk in there, but you could probably put some dining in there, right? I think this thing is awesome. I think for anyone that grew up in Leaside, wants to stay in the area, or parents looking for an investment property, right? This thing's awesome. Shows pretty well too, gotta say. This Pick 5's getting a little long in the tooth. Yeah, this is way too narrow. Okay, so I was thinking that maybe you could put the dining room there, but I don't know if you want to dine here, and then someone's like, I have to go to the bathroom. You're like, oh, cool, yeah. Everyone talk louder. Yeah, not the best place for the dining room table. Yeah. Very cool, right? Okay, now this particular unit happens to be overlooking the laneway, right? If you say it like that, you know. The laneway, parking. Oh, it overlooks the parking garage, overlooks the dumpster. Look, can I pull this thing down here? Okay, see this now is in frame. That's the dumpster. I'll move it back. Yeah, so it overlooks the dumpster. That's blurry, but you did see the barbecue gas line, right? Oh, this is what they did. They stole these photos from somebody else and then stretched them, so that's why they're blurry. And that's probably not a real person sitting there. Anyway, so great amenities, right? Full rooftop terrace. Now you've only got what, like 50, 60 units in here, and you have this massive rooftop terrace. So I just think like they went all out on this, right? Like it's not a huge building. This is the party room on the main floor. You can see as you drive by. I do this every time I go to my mother's. Awesome gym, right? Barbecue gas line. So there's just so much going for this building. And again, that rooftop terrace is killer, right? There you go. Not a huge building, right? Really not a huge building, but awesome, awesome amenities. So 649, one bed, plus one, right? How many square feet is it? Okay, it's 763. So it's been on the market 17 days. Let's say you get this for 630 for argument's sake, right? Divided by 673. You're $936 a square. That's pretty darn good. Pretty darn good, I gotta say. Oh, I know this agent. She sold our Monroe listing. Okay, let's move on. 356 Mcrase. So now we're getting into an older spot, okay? But I wanted to show this to you because of the value. And also because, like, I thought, boy, I'm talking about my mother a lot in this, but I thought maybe I'd get my mother a condo. She could move back into Leaside. No, gotta have a house. We gotta have the basement for Duke and for Maya. But this thing is 1,450. How many square feet is this thing? 1,407 square feet, right? Bit of an odd layout, and right, the finishes are not going to be amazing. But where are we? 356 Mcrase. So these things have been here a while. I'd say these are about 20 years old. Okay, so where were we? Just for frame of reference. This is Wicksteed, okay? This here is where Vanderhoof was. I'm going to show you Aerodrome Crescent after, which is around here, our new office, and the buildings that I was talking about that are being built. So we're down here, we're on Mcrase, and what we've got is a massive, massive space. It just needs to be updated, right? Nice high ceilings. We've got broadloom. Oh, I don't like broadloom. Who likes carpet, right? Oh, the furniture's old. This feels old. I've got a stucco ceiling. You got 1,400 square feet for $750, man. Like, what do you want? Okay? Yeah, okay, ceiling detail, whatever. Oh, I got carpet. Oh, at least we tried staging it. Where else are you going to get this amount of square footage? This is, you literally take the furniture out, like a bookshelf has literally been here for 20 years. Like, it's carved its name in the broadloom. And I just think it's funny how they don't get rid of those marks. Okay, so we've got a full laundry room, right? You never get a full laundry room in a condo downtown. You get a laundry closet if you're lucky. And yeah. Oh, you know what? This looks pixelated. Do you see these pixels here? See this? Like somebody went into paint and cleaned this wall. See the pixels? That's interesting. But you could do a pretty quick and dirty reno on this place, or you could do a really big reno, right? But where do you start? Like, what in the world is happening on the ceiling? Somebody wanted a ski lodge in here. Like, right? And then across the street, you've got these. This was Herb McGroarty. I don't know what it actually is, but I played hockey for them in 1991. Our jerseys were green. Herb McGroarty was a business here. For all I know, they were label printing or something, or accounting. But that was torn down, and then they built these townhouses here, which, interestingly enough, do not sell exceptionally well. So anyways, that's 356 Mcrase, 749, right, on the market 14 days. It's 1,400 square feet. Check this out. Great amount of space for the price for this extra large condo. Yeah, I'll say. And it has 2 parking spaces. Wow. Absolutely wow. Mom, maybe we should buy this. Okay. 50 Aerodrome Crescent. So when I said Daddy Divorceville, here's why. A colleague of mine who shall remain nameless once called this Daddy Divorceville. And it was at a company meeting. He said, yeah, I got a townhouse coming up over there in Daddy Divorceville. And everyone laughed. So the reason why is because, like, when you live in Leaside and you get divorced, wife keeps the house and you have to F off and go somewhere. Okay? So where do you go? Maybe I'll go on to Aerodrome. And I'll just buy this little place or rent this little place. I can be close to the kids. I can pick them up. I can see them on weekends, whatever, right? And so my colleague was saying, like, there's a lot of divorced dads from Leaside in there. So apparently that wasn't good enough for me. I had to go in there and film a blog video. And I guess I was having an off day. So that day I did many, many takes at full volume, right, with the old flip cam. Hi, everybody. It's David Fleming here from the Toronto Realty blog. And I'm in Daddy Divorceville. So I did this like 7 or 8 times, and this angry woman came out and said, you're saying some pretty unfriendly things about this area. And I was like, I'm probably not going to win this argument. So I'm going to tell her the truth. Yeah, ma'am, this is actually known in the real estate community as Daddy Divorceville because many divorced Leaside dads end up here. She was absolutely aghast. And I put that video up on my blog. So Google it, Daddy Divorceville, you'll probably see it. Anyway, so what have we got? We have a 2-bed, 2-bath townhouse. It's 1,100 square feet. It was $799, $999, and they've increased the price to $820, right? Maybe they were listed low for a bidding war. So these things are not bad, right? They're pretty cool, actually. And if you've been to Liberty Village or to Carr Street or to King West or any of those places downtown, you're going to compare these and you're going to see the layouts are better, right? For sure they are. They're not as cramped. This is like legit 6-person dining. And this is a legit seating area. So in a lot of these townhouses downtown that are 1,100 square feet, you've got like 4 sets of stairs, and they're awful layouts, and you can't really fit anything. So, you know, if you're a divorced dad, okay, fine. If you're like some Leaside kid, you know, and you're not quite ready to move downtown, your parents are like, We're looking to invest in the market. You could do a lot worse than getting this townhouse. Have a friend move in and rent the second bedroom for you. A lot of parents do that with their kids. Jimmy, I'll buy you this 2-bed bath condo, but I want one of your schoolmates to rent the other bedroom to help you learn about finances. It's pretty well kept, right? 820 grand. I mean, it's not bad for 1,100 square feet. So maybe it's 800, maybe it's 775, whatever it is. I'm not saying that, the price doesn't move the needle. But just to give you an idea, say it's around $800,000, this is what you're going to get. Some of the finishes are dated, right? Hey, I'm not wrong. Bunk beds? What happens when you've got 2 kids and you used to live in Leaside and you got divorced? Anyways, I don't know where I was going with that. I'm not wrong. Okay, so there's Daddy Divorceville. So, yeah, bad name. I won't use it anymore. But I think there's a lot of value here. I really do. And again, when you look at exactly where this isn't too far from the Vanderhoof condo. The Vanderhoof condo is here. So if you happen to be that proverbial divorced dad, look, you've got the skate park, you've got this big park over here, and you can walk out to have a sandwich at, what's that place called where people line up because it's so cheap? Some Greasy Spoon restaurant, and it's like, I don't know, like a $2.99 breakfast. People are literally lined up. That's so gross. Although maybe if they're price sensitive. Anyways, okay, so let's move on here. We've got one more, and this is the one that I mentioned. This is the Shane Baghai building. What is it actually called? Leaside Manors, I believe. So where is this? It's kitty corner to, remember 5 minutes ago when I told you that long-ass story about me working at Sunoco and a bunch of details about my life you probably don't care for? Yes, it is kitty corner to there. So this is the arena here, and then this is the Sunoco. This here is Malcolm. And then you've got the Shane Baghai building here. So again, this is so expensive, but compared to 1414 Bayview, this actually looks cheap. So here you've got $1,314,000 for what, 1,100 square feet. Now what they've done here is, look, linear gas fireplaces, barbecue terraces, 85-inch flat screen television, latest technology, blah, blah, blah. Like, they've decked this thing out. So it's an interesting way of selling real estate because, and again, luxury finishes, right? Wide doors, wide plank flooring. It's really, really, really nicely done. But like, as a developer, to put 85-inch TVs in the wall, it's certainly different. I don't know that I've seen that before, right? Everyone gets an 85-inch flat screen. That's a really big TV. I bought one for my basement. My friend Galen said, you can never buy too big a TV. I think about like a 75. And it was so big. And now it's not. I'm like, I should have got a bigger one. So yeah, you get a free TV. I actually think it's way too big for this condo. But again, finishes in here are amazing. They're probably not nearly as good as 1414 Bayview, but the prices, as I said, are actually a little bit lower. So this here is, it's kind of in between because let's be honest, if you are that proverbial multi-millionaire and you're like, I want a killer place in Leaside, never been lived in, absurd finishes, you're going to want 1414 Bayview. 1414 Bayview, you literally walk out your door and you're a block from Baskin Robbins. You're a block from Millwood, which is the main drag of Bayview. That's where the big spenders are going to want to be. So here, right, where are we? We're at Southvale, right? We're at Southvale. So let me go back here. This is 1414 Bayview. So walk to Millwood. It's a 5-minute walk at worst. This is where all your infrastructure is, right? If I zoom out a little bit more, you can see basically between Parkhurst and Millwood is where all your infrastructure is. I look at this now, my God, things have changed. Hollywood Gelato, Craig's Cookies. When I was a kid, we would laugh. We'd be like, who eats dinner on Bayview? It was just like, who goes there? I don't know, like who buys a dress on Bayview? I still don't really know who does. Although I actually go to the Source on Bayview for some dress clothing. I wanted to support local. I didn't. My friend Chris told me that I should. Go to Trevor at the Source. He's awesome. I know nothing about fashion, and he outfitted me because all my clothes were from like 15 years ago. I didn't know fashion changes over time. How are you supposed to know that? So 1414 Bayview, awesome location, right? Now let's see if we can get them both in frame here. I think we can. Snake, can we circle this? Okay, so here's 1414 Bayview, right? And then down here, it's a Husky, I told you. I worked at Sunoco. Down here is 25 Malcolm. And then down here is 3 Southvale. That's the Shane Baghai building. So if this here is all of your infrastructure, let's just do one quick zoom. Okay, this is all your infrastructure. This is your retail drag. That's where you want to be. That's 1414 Bayview, and you're paying whatever it is per square foot. It's crazy. It makes more sense than being down here, buried by the train tracks, the arenas, right? Whatever else, gas stations. So again, I mean, these things, $1.3 million for 1,100 square feet, it's expensive, right? But compared to some of the crap that's selling downtown, it's not bad. But I still think, right, 1414 Bayview makes a lot more sense for the people that want to be in the heart of the action. Wow, I can't believe I'm done. Did we talk at all about real estate, or is it mostly about my childhood? I don't know what to say. I'm what a friend once referred to as verbose, but I'm passionate about Leaside. It's where I grew up. I went to Besbro Public School. I went to North Lee after because I was kicked out of JK at Besbro in 1984 for lifting up girls' skirts. I think. A friend of mine really did it. I just took the blame. So then I went to SK, senior kindergarten, for French immersion at North Lee, and I also think I was kicked out of there in tandem with not wanting to do French, because why would anyone do that? So then I went back. We should edit all this out. I went back for grade 1 at Besbro. I was there until grade 8. I went to Leaside High School. So Leaside, born and raised, born on Airdrie, moved to Parkhurst, and then finished up at Besbro. I love the area. It's changed a lot over the years. When I grew up, Leaside was nothing. It was just Leaside, right? So now it's hoity-toity. It wasn't in the 80s, man. It was just another spot. It was no big deal, right? No one I knew went to Bayview to, I don't know, buy a cupcake with gold flakes on it or whatever SHIT is they sell up there. It's not really my jam. I would go to Baskin Robbins and get an ice cream for my daughter to eat half of and then throw the rest on the ground. But I love Leaside. I loved it then. I love it now. I think it's an amazing spot. I'm kind of understanding of the people that don't want massive development in Leaside. So maybe you just say that between Parkhurst and Millwood, nothing's ever developed, right? But if you're talking about this 1414 Bayview, I don't think it bothers me. Laird certainly does not bother me at all. I see no reason why that can't be developed. The Shane Baghai building on Southvale doesn't stick out. The Malcolm building doesn't stick out. Maybe for the people that are living on Randolph, it's going to be an eyesore, but I think the writing's on the wall there. All of Laird will eventually be developed. So, hope you enjoyed this look at condos, both present and future. And as I said, if you're ever interested in, let me just go to it here. Well, you can't actually see it. You can Google development applications. You can go to the toronto.ca website, bookmark that site. If ever you want to know where there are development applications, whether it's for a condo or whether it's for a neighbor who's, got a permit to, I don't know, put in a fence post, it is all public record. Anyways, guys, busy day. That's it. I'll end it here. Thank you so much for watching. As always, have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.